let's start there. First time in 19 years, they do it. Game 6, John Tavares is the one to do it in overtime, sends it out in front, off of Darren Radish and into the back of the net. The reaction, Keefe, everybody on the bench, the city of Toronto, people watching at home, Kyle Dubas and Jason Spezza up top. First time since 2004 that this team has won a playoff series. Chad, take us through where you were, your reaction, what you saw, and just how you felt after that puck went in overtime.
Oh, boys, elated. The last however many hours it's been since they've won, I have just been consuming all of the Toronto hockey media I can, because we're hearing words that have not been uttered in 19 years, that the Toronto Maple Leafs have won a round in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and it is just incredible to hear. So I've been soaking it all in. At first, I didn't even know how to feel because I had never been there before. The last time the Leafs won a playoff series, I was 6 years old, turning 7, and I watched that series. I remember with my dad when they beat Ottawa and then went on to lose to Philly. That fall, or that same year, later in the year, I enrolled to start playing hockey in Athens, Ontario. That was my first year of hockey after watching that series. And since then, my entire minor hockey, junior hockey career, all of that, come and gone. Since then, a million different milestones in my life, and I've not watched the Leafs win a round. Since 2018, when we started doing this podcast, and this is like a serious note, did you guys ever think that we would be sitting here today and this be the first time here in 2023 that the Maple Leafs have won a round with the types of players that they had when we started recording in 2018? It's just ridiculous, guys. So Saturday, I'll walk you through a little bit quickly what was going on. So obviously Friday night at Harper's for his birthday party, that was a bash. So much fun. So wake up Saturday morning hurting, go get breakfast at John's, which was great. And so that might have been, a bit of luck there. I got to talk to, I saw some of the guys from high school. I saw John himself and Mike as well, and said, hey boys, like if they win tonight, I might have to be back for every meal on game days because, just a luck factor there. So got breakfast, saw my nephew Maverick quickly, briefly, wish I could have stayed longer, but I jetted it back to Toronto to watch it with some friends. I got in at about 6:30, got changed quickly, went to a bar, just the closest one around the corner, Firkin on Bay, to watch with a couple buddies because we knew we could walk in. And when I tell you that when that goal went in, the place exploded, I mean it. It was a gong show. People pushing each other around, mosh pit, hugging, yelling, screaming, people with phones out recording the whole thing. That night, to Leafs fans, was our Stanley Cup. We know there's more work to do, and we're going to hear the chirps about it. Oh, the Leafs celebrated like they won a round and it's the Stanley Cup. No. Shut up. Let us enjoy this. We did. Now it's back to business. And boys, just incredible feelings. Incredible.
Yeah, immediately when I saw the celebrations going on, I was like, ooh, like bad luck. Like that was my first gut reaction. Then it kind of set in for me. I was like, let them have their fun, let them get excited. But if I'm the players, I'm not celebrating. I'm getting back to work right away, which they did. They practiced the next day, and it's exciting. You always hear from Leafs fans who, admittedly, are the biggest haters on the Leafs, but there are a lot of Leafs haters, and when the Leafs do poorly, the haters are texting. Their fingers are texting away, tic-tac texting away. But when the Leafs are successful, it's crickets. So I wanted to make sure to let a few people know as soon as I saw that they won, like, I'm happy for you. Congrats. Hopefully we can see you in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's definitely, there's a lot of people that I love this for, and then there's a few people that I hate this for, and those are the bad Leafs fans. So, yeah.
And Mitch Marner, I'm sure you're not elated that he's in the next round because you hate him with a passion. But yeah, I wanted to mention too that my phone the night of was blowing up. I guess that's just the nature of being a psychotic Leaf fan, a public psychotic Leaf fan, because we have this podcast now. So everyone knows that I have this delusion where I keep cheering for this team, even though they keep letting me down. So the amount of text messages I got from just casual fans, diehard fans, like fans of the Leafs, fans of other teams, just congratulating me on my fandom and being so happy for me that the Leafs finally got it done. It was just fantastic. And let's be honest, guys, they deserved it. It has been so long since they won, 19 years. Thank God it didn't get to 20. The memes would have been even crazier. But now we're not the butt. Leaf fans, that is. We're not the butt of jokes around the NHL because there's another team who blew quite a big lead in a series, and they're going to be hearing about it from me, a Leafs fan, for the next little while until the Leafs do something catastrophic, that is. So just, overall, to summarize, I'm just elated. I couldn't believe it when it happened. I could, obviously, because they're a good team and they were supposed to do this years ago. And the fact that they got outplayed in this series by all the numbers is just perfect, sweet irony for me, because this was the year they weren't supposed to.
Yeah, you said they deserved it, and I had to step back for a sec there when you said that, but they deserve it from years prior, but this year they didn't deserve it. I think they got outplayed most of the games. So it's, a little surprising to see, but I'm definitely happy for them, and I'm back to cheering against them. So
absolutely. And Case, how, we're going to get to this next, but how incredible would it be if our two teams met in the Eastern Conference Finals? Not trying to get ahead of ourselves here. There are two very tough matchups coming up, but how crazy would that be for our hearts on this podcast to talk about our two teams going head to head?
I barely made it through health-wise of that Rangers series. I think it would be the end of me if Toronto and the Devils played in the Eastern Conference Finals. I tell people, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the team I'd hate to lose to the most, the Rangers are a 10, the Leafs are a 9, and then everyone else is 5 and lower. It's just that much higher, and people are like, why the Leafs? I'm like, hello, have you met a Leafs fan? And fans, many of my friends are Leafs fans, so it's just the sheer volume of it would be unbearable. But it would be fun hockey, that's for sure. It'd be run and gun until all of the goals are scored. But I don't know.
It'd be fun for me, that's for sure, being right in the middle of it and you two just going at it. But quickly on the Leafs, you guys know that my dad is a diehard Leafs fan. He has been for a long time. He actually missed that moment, though. Chad, you know this. So we were at the Keystorm Saturday night for my aunt's surprise 50th, and what a party that was. And it became even better because, of course, the Leafs won. And so I'm jumping up and down, and I'm hugging people I don't even know and high-fiving people, and the place went crazy in there, like where you were, Chad, at that bar in TO. But I'm not kidding you guys. My mom and dad probably walked out 2 minutes before the moment actually happened. He left his phone at their place, so I'm trying to get a hold of him. I called him 5 or 6 times. He doesn't pick up, and then he finally got back to the house, turned on the TV, and saw it after the fact, and watched a bunch of highlights, and watched Steve Dangle's reaction, which was fantastic, and all of it. But I just I wish that I could have had that moment with my dad. I've thought about it for so long. Since I was a kid, I've always had a soft spot for that franchise, but maybe we'll get that moment together in this next series. So anyway,
that's sad to hear, Harp, that he missed it, because that also means that, is he allowed to watch the rest? I don't know about that. And to mention Steve Dangle, I hope I never see that reaction as long as I live, because he screams and clips the microphone and breaks everyone's eardrums on a shot on goal. So like I couldn't imagine an OT win on the 19th year. Like
Steve is the best though. He's like us, dude. Like, or I mean, not us because you guys cheer for other teams, but he's like massive fans like us who just
He's passionate.
You feel like you deserve it after so many heartbreaks over and over again. And it was funny, like speaking of Steve, he posted obviously his reaction. He reacts to every game. And he mentioned that the last time the Leafs won a round in 2004, he hadn't started his account. He started it in 2007. That was before YouTube existed. Facebook was founded that same year in 2004. So it's just ridiculous to look back on this. Like, it's one series, but now do you understand from an outside perspective why they're celebrating the way they are? And also the path to the cup. Again, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, but is looking really nice for the Eastern Conference teams here. Like without the Bruins, who were a juggernaut all year, and without the 3-time, back-to-back Cup Finals appearances, Tampa Bay Lightning, who won it twice. So it is
wide
just
open.
shaping.
I think it's wide open now.
Someone, just to step back one more time, someone sent me a message about, it was a graphic that showed the longest droughts of playoff series wins, and they just said, "Isn't this your podcast?" And it was the Leafs, obviously, and then Buffalo and New Jersey. I'm like, but two of those are broken now. Yeah.
That's right. And also, Harper, speaking of your dad who didn't get to see it, for someone like me or like us who were so young when the Leafs won that series in 2004 and didn't really get to appreciate it because we were kids, or at least not as much as we would have today. At least your dad has that. He has seen some great teams throughout the years. I mean, unless he looks absolutely incredible for his age, I don't think he saw them win the cup in '67. My dad did. He was 10 years old. But regardless, your dad has definitely seen some great Leafs teams in the 90s, early 2000s, that Eastern Conference Finals run in 2002, some great teams who have won tons of playoff series. So you know what? Maybe his nonchalant attitude about leaving the bar at the start of overtime, maybe that's what did it. And who knows? Like maybe that's the attitude you have to have going forward. It's not all or nothing. This is one step to the ultimate goal. So honestly, like it's not that big of a deal for your pops.
And and that's a good point. And he didn't even know, because we were, we got after it pretty good at my aunt's party there, and he didn't even know we were heading into OT. And by that point, I don't even remember really him leaving or talking to him before he left or anything like that. But you know what? He's been a Leaf fan for so long. He's very nonchalant about it, expects them to lose, expected them to F up this series. But I know that he's thrilled. And the next day when I saw him, we had a nice little embrace there. And hopefully we get to have that in the moment. With this upcoming series here, which, by the way, starts tonight. We're recording on Tuesday night, and the second round series between the Leafs and the Panthers is about to get underway in a little over an hour from now as we're recording. Dallas and Seattle also starts tonight as well at 9:30. So congratulations to the Toronto Maple Leafs. First playoff series win in 19 years. That's fantastic. And now they face the other team in Florida, the Panthers,